Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 43 of the Diverse Dialogues podcast. I'm Mateo,
And I'm Ruben.
and for today's podcast, we are doing a topic that I'm surprised that we haven't done probably a lot earlier into the years of the podcast, but we are going to be talking about not just about Gordon Ramsay, but Kitchen Nightmares itself. If you don't know, Kitchen Nightmares is a show that Gordon Ramsay hosted where he would go to failing restaurants that the restaurants would reach out for, and he would investigate the place, try out the food, and learn about the family or whatever the hell the situation is. And then if they are willing to participate, because one decided not to participate, and I think we might know exactly what episode we're talking about. If they decide to help participate and accept change, he would either change the restaurant itself or just only change the food. And it became a pretty successful hit, and for the most part, we got into it, of course, very late. Pretty much at the time where it just was not there anymore, and we just, watched episodes. And I introduced Ruben to Kitchen Nightmares episodes just because I honestly don't remember why. I was like, hey, check this out. And then
Yeah, he's been showing them to me a lot recently. And for a while, I was like, I'm actually kind of interested in more episodes. How worse can these restaurants become?
yep. So that's exactly why we are now finally doing an episode on it. And for this episode, we are doing a top 10. From what I think if I remember correctly, this is the first top 10 episode we've ever done for our podcast.
Yeah, it is.
So, Ruben, how's it going to go?
All right, so basically, of course, there's gonna be a top 10 list of Okay, here's the thing. For once, for this top 10 list, there is a criteria. So the criteria is the most entertaining episodes to us.
Yes.
So we just picked 10. Well, actually, we picked more than 10 restaurants, and we were like, okay, which episodes were the most notorious for me and Mateo? So we're going to be going down this list from pretty notorious to downright notorious, not just for me and Mateo, but I think towards anyone who's seen Kitchen Nightmares.
Exactly. So if there is and again, it's our opinion. So if there's a famous episode that you guys know that's not on the top 10 or not even in the honorable mention, that's just us because there are some deep takes. There is some not very well-known episodes that I think made it to this list that are not as known that we just found funny because of certain aspects of the stuff that Ruben and I continue to joke about to this day. So
Yep.
I think there's not much else to talk about. We didn't really think about any questions. I know we've been kind of slacking on the questions lately, but that's just because it's not really much to talk about unless we actually, spoil anything with the questions at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I guess no questions today. And just because, adding more time to think about questions is a headache and a half anyway. So without further ado, let's get right into the top 10 Kitchen Nightmares episodes to us.
Yep. Number 10, Down City.
If you're not familiar, that is the one with the infamous Abby.
Yep.
The woman with the very, very short hair and basically the definition of a Karen.
Totally. Definitely looked like one. Definitely acted like one.
Yep. And if you're not aware, the episode is about Abby and I think Nico, the other partner, who's not as involved. But basically, Abby has been in the restaurant business for a long time, but she's basically, even though she didn't necessarily put that as much money as Nico did, she basically spearheads the whole operation. But she is as as dictatorish as you can possibly get. She made the menu, she tried to operate everything, but she cannot take criticism in the fucking slightest.
Yep. She takes criticism as personal attacks. So she starts crying. She thinks she's the victim. All that jazz. And this is the only funny part to me because I made this joke as she's crying or whatever, thinking the whole world hates her because that's just how it goes when you can't handle criticism. The whole world hates her, and then her coworkers are like, "No, Abby, trust us. We're your greatest friends." And then as I'm watching this with Mateo, I say out loud, "Stop the cap." Because, yeah, that's definitely a fat lie, bro. I'm,
She probably was like just trying to gain sympathy because goddamn she was unbearable in that episode.
uh-huh. And in terms of food,
It was like American esque, like comfort food because there was, but at the same time there was also a whole bunch of shit. Like there was the party in your mouth nachos, the award winning meatloaf.
mhm,
Uh,
and a misspelled,
oh yeah, something misspelled with peppers with 4 P's
uh-huh,
in total.
yep. And other than that,
Uh, then there was the standoff between Abby and Gordon near like the the freezer investigation where I think I oh this is reality TV, so of course Gordon knows how to freaking amp up something because I'm pretty sure he knew ahead of time that Abby was a freaking crazy bitch. So
mhm,
uh I think he tried to like push her to go a little bit more angry than other people at most times. So there was lots of arguments between the two to the point where Gordon, I guess purposely, I'm not saying purposely because it's reality TV. A lot of this could be staged. Left the restaurant because she wanted him to leave.
mhm.
And I thought, oh wait, is this going to be the second Amy's Baking Company? Which we'll get to that in a minute. But no, they, you know, she tried to admit to her wrongs, and I also remember like the revisit of the episode. Like Abby, I guess still, she changed, but she's still a little bit of her old ways, which is like, all right, I guess it's better than nothing.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
But yeah, it's mainly iconic for the fact that Abby and Gordon had basically had a standoff with each other, and just for us personally, just to fucking stop the cap shit.
Yeah. But yeah, that's number 10. Now moving on to number 9. La Galleria 33. Yeah, that's the name of it.
If you're not familiar, that's the two Boston girls, uh, Italian restaurant.
Yeah. So this is just personal reason why it's notorious to me, but I just find Boston accents really funny.
Well, yeah, no shit.
So throughout the entire episode, I could not take either of them seriously.
But yeah, the two girls, two women. I think they were sisters. I think, yeah, and they had her like literal terms a parent restaurant as well that was not that far away that was doing much better.
Yeah.
And because I remember that Gordon ordered tiramisu.
Yep.
And he was like, "Oh my god, that was so amazing." So it's like, okay, so there is some light,
Yeah.
but it's just that these girls don't know what they're doing. And if I remember, oh yeah, one of the ex-husbands I think was the chef to one of the sisters.
I believe so, yeah.
And I think that was the episode where he dropped a piece of chicken on the floor and still cooked it.
Yes.
I think that just goes to show how, one of the reasons why it was failing.
Yep. And, back to the Boston accent thing, naturally these girls did not like Gordon, so one of them was like, I'm not going to call him Chef Ramsay anymore. I'm just going to call him Ramsay.
I'm calling him Ramsay. Like, goddamn, how thicker can your accent get?
I know. And I believe this is the episode with the waitress.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's something. Throughout almost every Kitchen Nightmares episode, if you're either the cameraman or the waiter / waitress, you're fine. Gordon's not going to yell at you, or you're not going to get in any trouble. I mean, until this episode where the main waitress, Sarah, throughout the entire episode, I mean, I guess you could say it's kind of a good thing due to how the owners are. She purposely tells Gordon to like order the bad stuff, like would you like to try our
seafood ravioli?
Yeah.
It's like, it wasn't a special, but she claimed it as a special so that way Gordon would, try to, go for it.
Yeah.
Purposely trying to sabotage, but also show the truth about this place. So I mean, kudos to her because that takes some balls for you to do that, especially in front of your own boss.
Yep. But then like halfway through, I guess she got fired, or no, she
she
decided
quit.
She quit.
But then she came back.
Uh-huh. And
what other ones were pretty big? I mean, of course, investigating the kitchen. They froze like a whole shit ton of stuff.
no, that's gonna become a problem.
Yep. Why would you freeze pasta? It's like, I don't know. But yeah, other than that, it's just mainly funny of the aspect of these two Boston chicks just talking in general was just entertaining enough.
Yeah, and the fact that they have like their mom with a way more successful restaurant like just nearby. Meanwhile, these two have a horrible one. Is funny to me.
Yep.
But yeah, that's La Galleria 33.
Yeah.
I still don't get that name, bro.
Maybe it's the 33rd Street because you know how the the East Coast is with their street names.
Yep. All right, now we're moving on to number 8, which is Burger Kitchen.
This is a pretty popular one. If you're not aware, this is the one with the Australian dad and the Polish mother.
Yeah.
Where they wanted to open up a restaurant, or at least the dad did, and they didn't have the money, or at least I think they had like half of the amount that they needed. So what did they do? They took their son's money from a trust account.
Yep.
I forgot what was the full amount, but it was a lot.
Yeah. And keep in mind, the dad did this without his permission.
Yep.
Which is pretty fucked up.
So the son had no choice but to be a part of the restaurant because of it.
Now let's get into the actual restaurant himself. So the head chef is named David Blaine.
How ironic.
As in the magician. And keep in mind, David is actually a pretty good chef. But of course, the owners don't let him do what he wants. He has to go with
the menu that they created.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think it was stated that the dude, the dad, changed. Yeah, he changed the menu like over 20 times.
Yeah.
In the span of a short period of time.
Okay.
And in regards to the food, it's your burger stuff, but they were using Wagyu meat, which I guess under the right conditions, you could be able to make it right, but because they were frozen, they come off dry or not perfect or not cooked properly. So, and some comedic moments were when he ordered the cowboy burger, but they had a kid's bun instead of a regular sized bun, so there was just like I think it was like a full pound burger. With these tiny little buns on top, so Gordon was having a hard time trying to eat it.
Yeah. Okay, and I know this is like maybe halfway through the episode, but Gordon requested that the main chef, does his own thing, cooks his burger, no rules, just the way he would cook his burger. But before that, the owner, the dad, cooks his own burger, and is like, "Hey, Gordon, how about you try this first?" And so the chef is just like awkwardly like sitting back there like, "Can I serve my burger, please?" So Gordon tries the dad's burger, and of course was like, "This is terrible." And then he tries the head chef's burger, and he's like, "It's delicious."
And keep in mind, I think they also said that he was previously a pastry chef, and yet he could do a burger better than you.
Yeah. And right after Gordon says like, "Oh, this is delicious,"
it's like he was like, "Why aren't you not serving this?" It's like, "I thought the Wagyu meat was better." It's like, you got your priorities wrong. Just because it's Wagyu doesn't mean it's going to give you the best quality. And then I'll let you say it.
And then Gordon's like, "Here, how about you two try the burger and see how good it is?" And so the mom tries the burger, and like literally a millisecond, when she bites into it, she goes,
and she's like, "What is that strong taste that I'm tasting?"
It's salt.
Well, she is white, so she may not. No, I'm just kidding.
She's Polish, and that's another thing. She claims because she's Polish,
Something about mushrooms. Or
Yeah,
something.
like she knows a lot about mushrooms.
Uh, but yeah, so yeah, those the wife and the dad the of I forgot what the was it Michael? I think it was
I don't remember the names
uh
for this episode.
I forgot. But the husband and wife, I'll just call them that, the owners, like even though they're bad, the chef itself himself wasn't that good either because he did threaten to beat up the son. And I mean, I guess in a sense, you could say that the son kind of overreacted, but over time like a little bit of a side tangent, you realize over time that overreacting is just reacting. Like people just use that as a mechanism just to gaslight people in a sense, but that's a whole different story for another time. But other than that, he also told the wife, David Blaine, the chef, told the wife to take Prozac and stuff like that. So he wasn't that great either, but he was better than the other two, but still.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of drama in this one.
Yeah. I think there was also a point where the dad gives Gordon a book about like his
Like
relationship with his father.
Yeah, and it was literally basically a carbon copy of what's going on right now.
Yeah, bro. Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, or however the saying goes.
You basically did it.
Okay. Whatever.
And come to find out later on that the reason why they had so much money in the first place was because the dad was the son of I don't know if it was a leader or just a part of it, but of a famous Australian mafia.
Mm-hmm.
That could be wrong information because I don't necessarily remember where I got that information from. Probably because the most trustworthy source ever, the comments section.
True.
But I could be wrong about that. So if we got information wrong, guys, let us know in the comments down below, and also let us know what would be your top 10 or what you think is like your top 5, just to make it easier on you guys. But on that note, yeah, I think it earns the spot or definitely in my opinion on a top 8, just because the drama was so heavy and just god damn, bro, can your engine not be as loud? Can your engine be as like get any louder? I fucked that up. Anyway, yeah, but pretty decent episode, and just memorable for the fact that just for the fact that the drama was so big and just emotions were high, and of course the son's girlfriend being being a very supportive person.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's Burger Kitchen. Now moving on to number 7, Manja Manja. All right, so right off the bat, the first thing you'll notice about this restaurant is that it has a drive-through.
I was about to say, like, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, it's the one with the Italian restaurant with a drive-through.
Yep. So right off the bat, it's like, okay, there's a drive-through, which was intended for like just let's admit to-go purposes or something. But I guess people could order.
Really?
But I guess people could just order from there, like it's a fast food restaurant. So yeah, maybe it's a fast food restaurant. Now, if we go into the food itself, this is one of my favorite quotes from that episode. The food is not cooked with love. It's cooked with stress and a microwave. Because that's the thing. Nearly everything in this restaurant is microwaved.
That goes with almost like probably like above 50% of most of the restaurants that are in Kitchen Nightmares.
Uh-huh.
Is just microwave, 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 microwave.
Yeah. And one thing I've noticed of this episode is that all the employees here, minus the employee and some other guy, are the only 2 sane people in the restaurant. Because everyone else either has a humongous ego, does not know what the fuck they're doing, or just somewhere in between.
Yeah.
So, what's meant? You have the main owner, Julie, who also has her daughter in the business for some reason. And then you have the head chef, who I will talk about in a minute because of something. Even though he's a head chef, he does not know how to make pasta. I don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the daughter of Julie and the head chef were dating at one point.
Okay, yeah, they were dating, and then they broke up at some point, so naturally that would create a toxic environment within the kitchen. But Julie did not fire him,
Mhm.
even though what we're about to learn soon should have been fired a long time ago. Then you have some guy who just likes to make Julie mad for some reason, and then some other guy who barely did anything, and then there's this one dude. He did not show up on day one. He showed up on day two, and Gordon asked, "What are the problems with this restaurant?" He immediately listed everything. You know, food is bad, the employees are unexperienced, and poor management. Literally in like 5 seconds. It's like, bro, this guy does a better job than like all the people here. Uh, Another thing I remembered was that Gordon was like checking the freezer. Well, first of all, everything was frozen. Literally everything.
Another big common thread with Kitchen Nightmares as a whole.
But another thing in this episode, as Gordon was like going through the freezer, getting all the food, by the end, he pulled out 30 tubs of pasta. And you would think it would be like, okay, maybe this is, I don't know, I'm not a pasta expert, but like maybe this is this kind of pasta, this is that kind of pasta. No, like 30 of them were the same kind.
Yeah, like just your average, just typical. I don't want to butcher the names, even though I am Italian. I don't want to butcher the names, but like the thicker length pasta, just like repeated like 30 different tubs.
Right. And there was only like one tub that was gluten free and one tub that's like angel hair or something.
Yeah.
But bro, looking at that pasta, it's like, bro, how the fuck do you have that much pasta just there?
You could with all that pasta, you could be set for like a week
Uh-huh.
if you just went through all that instead of just cooking new stuff.
And what I find funny was that as Gordon was showing all this pasta, Julie was simply like, okay, so this is going to be served today. Motherfucker, you cannot serve one of those tubs in one day. I mean, maybe one tub had like 10 portions.
I mean, maybe if you had business,
right? But you have like maybe like 5 people in your restaurant weekly.
So yeah, other than that, there wasn't anything like too crazy about this episode, but the big standout, which like it was shocking to me and Ruben, was something involving the head chef.
Yeah.
That I think at one point there was, and trigger words ahead, abuse, because of the fact that the chef, Trevor, I believe that was his name,
Trevor, yeah,
had problems, or at least an addiction, no less, to meth.
Mm-hmm.
And I it's been a while since I've seen the episode, and I guess we should probably just skim through it just to be sure. But I think at the end, I think he had to leave. I don't know if he continued on from that point, but I think Gordon did give him like rehab or like just something involving like him getting help because of it. So that is one of the main reasons why we chose this as one of the top 10, just because of how like it's like, oh my god, yeah, you're right. Like,
yeah.
Which Trevor, if whatever reason you're listening to this, I hope you're doing good, man, because like you marijuana, like obviously we don't know anything about drugs, but like it's so difficult to get out of those situations, and especially meth.
Yeah. Like when I heard like what's meant he was high that day, I would have assumed it was like marijuana or something. But the moment I heard meth, I was like, oh shit, that's that. Okay, not expecting that kind of drug.
I would have been less surprised if it was like cocaine or something, but no, freaking meth, dude.
Uh-huh.
Which is like that, like times 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, here's your friendly don't do drugs reminder PSA episode.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And I don't even know what was the resolution of this episode, because like, normally it's like Gordon changing up the restaurant, changing up the menu or whatever, but the first problem was the employees themselves.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there was not much else that we remembered about this episode because we were just so stun-locked by the whole meth thing that it was just like, all right, that's how notorious it is for us, at least. Because remember, it's our opinion. This is our list, so
mm-hmm.
we didn't go to a website and just said, oh yeah, we can just talk about this.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of episodes that we just did not watch, but we watched a lot of the ones that we found or at least I found very hilarious, and I just showed Ruben afterwards.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't even. I would not be surprised if this place closed down like a week later. This
That's
episode aired.
that's the comment. Oh my god, I almost forgot. Freaking Pantaleones, the Greek chef.
Wait.
uh, what was it? Like the gigantic pizza and like the.
Oh,
We can
yeah.
add that as an honorable mention later.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, like almost every time Gordon helps out with these restaurants, it's only good for like maybe like a month or a year or so, and then it closes down. That's like the recurring theme about almost all these kitchen nightmares. The fridge is atrocious, and the employees suck. Everything is everything is frozen, and they all close by like months after the episode was aired.
Yep. But yeah, that's it for Manja Manja. Now we're moving on. Number 6, Old Neighborhood.
If you're wondering what that one is, all I need to say is just one word: hoarding.
Yep.
I think you might already know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So, Gordon walks in the restaurant and, you have that couch that, you have to sit on before you sit on your table. And in this couch, he finds like a candy cane, a playing card, a comb, some other miscellaneous items under a couch.
And then goes to another chair and he's like, how old is this chair? 20 years. 20 years old.
And another thing you'll notice when you look at the ceiling, there's a shelf of just random items: a tricycle, a freaking record player, a bucket, random shit.
Yep. Like.
And also in the entrance, there's some mannequin just there.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about that.
That thing was possessed. And then
and remember it had a name, but I forgot what it was.
And what's mid? Gordon sits in his chair, but he also like sees like a little like shelf in a booth. And when he checks the shelf, there's just a pair of shoes just there. And throughout the entire episode, it does not explain where those shoes came from.
He literally was like, you keep your he tells one of the owners, you keep your dirty shoes under the banquette. And he's like, they're not mine. Did the customer die?
Yeah, so throughout the entire episode, it does not explain what's those shoes all about. However, one comment did say those shoes belong to the health inspector.
That fucking killed me and Ruben when we read that out loud.
It
goes to show that, after all the seriousness that you take from the episode, you look at the comment section and they're just filled with a whole bunch of funny shit.
Yeah. But anyways, Gordon tries the food and there's a fly that's there. And not even the fly wants the food. Which says a lot.
Yeah, not only was the whole place just a horrid mess, the kitchen was unsanitary. Like the chef, who was also one of the owners, did not give a fuck. Like she basically sprayed an anti-stick coating on the meat.
Yep.
Putting like thermometers in the wall.
And so anyways, with all the hoarding and the shelves with all the random items, you also go in the kitchen. You also see a glimpse of the main owner's office. Again, a bunch of hoarding, a bunch of papers everywhere, probably a bunch of debt. And then the biggest one, the hoarding is not just with the decorations or the paperwork. It's also with the food. And one of the cases was like this small fridge that has chocolate pie on one shelf and raw meat on the bottom shelf.
Filled with blood, by the way.
Yeah. And then you go into the fridge. Again, more hoarding. You got some fish with the fish bones on the side of it. Okay, just leave them there, I guess. And here's one thing that was just like a big WTF moment for me, was that after Gordon's like yelling at the owner for like, he's hoarding all of this food and all that, the owner says, "We serve that shit," confidently. And I'm like, what, was he expecting an applause for that one or something? Like, what was he trying to get out of that? "We serve that shit." Like, huh?
To the point where Gordon had to shut it down because it's like, you fucking idiot, why are you serving that shit? And then he tries to like, say, "Oh yeah, I definitely clean. And I clean like 5 times a day." And Gordon was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, no, the fuck you don't."
Right. Uh, but yeah, the whole hoarding thing, like, look, I know hoarding is a serious issue. It's not something that can just be easily cured, but like, it just got me hit being like, if you have like any mental health problems, it's probably not best if you own a restaurant.
Oh yeah, for damn sure.
I get it, you can't control hoarding and all that, but maybe you shouldn't be running a restaurant.
Yeah, and like, yeah, let's my train of thought for a second. And freaking, they take the term "old neighborhood" like it literally feels like I'm in my grandma's house.
Yeah, with all the freaking old furniture that's just on the shelves. Maybe that place is a museum, not a restaurant.
I mean, there is a Kitchen Nightmares museum that sure is gonna have its own section.
Totally. Uh, but I think that's it.
Yeah, old neighborhood. Emphasis on the old.
Yep. Main problem is hoarding. I think that's pretty obvious by
It's
now.
been there and it hasn't changed. I think, if I'm not mistaken, like 40 years.
Yeah,
If I
actually.
remember correctly.
Yeah.
So there's your other lesson: don't hoard.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, well, more serious note, just be efficient with how you organize things.
Yeah.
If for whatever reason is like, I'm gonna. That's the other thing about Kitchen Nightmares. Some of these people are just like, yeah, let's just start a restaurant.
Yeah.
Do we have an experience? No. Okay, let's do it.
Oh my god. All right, but I think that's it for Old Neighborhood.
All right.
Now we're moving on to the top five. Okay, now here's the thing. When it came to the first five that we went over, honestly, looking back at this, if like a year passes, we're probably going to switch some things here and there. However, the next five, we solidified it. We're like, okay, yeah, these five are definitely worthy of being in the top five.
For us.
Yeah.
So yeah, brace yourselves because you may find some episodes like kind of surprising that they're in the top five for us. But again, it's just because we just found it amusing and it's just become inside jokes for us for the longest time. So
Yeah, and keep in mind, we did not watch every episode.
yeah, or like because we even found like a tier list and like half of the stuff that we haven't even watched yet. So or like we have watched it like once or twice and that's about it. We don't really remember it after that.
Yep. All right, so now, starting with the top five, we have Yanni's or Yanni's. I don't know. It's a
Yanny
Greek
Laurel,
restaurant.
whatever the fuck.
It's a Greek restaurant. At first, when I went into it, I was like, okay, well, I don't know what I'm expecting because I don't know jack shit about Greek cuisine. So there's that. Uh, and then you already get a glimpse of the family. So the dad, throughout the entire episode, does not know what the word dated means.
Yep.
And I guess he has a problem with change, which, I mean, I think we all kind of do, not gonna lie. Uh, and the mom's name is Karen. She also looks like a Karen. However, when you dig into her personality, or no, when you just see her for the first few seconds, she's a normal human being.
Like literally taking the term "don't judge a book by its cover" seriously.
Right.
Because the majority of the comment section on that video was just, "Dang, Karen exceeded my expectations."
Yeah.
Like I thought Karen was gonna be something completely different, but no, she's the most sane. You know you're bad when the Karen of the family is better than everyone else.
Right.
Like something along those lines.
All right, now we're moving on to the two daughters. So the first daughter, she's your typical teenage daughter, always having a problem with everything, always mad in a moody sense.
Like she was still like aware enough to where there's problems, but when it comes to like the food and like the cooking, that's where she's like, "What do you mean, huh?" That type of shit.
Yeah. And the next daughter, this was just funny to me. So, cool, thanks, Phoenix. So, this other daughter, she just cries a lot. Now, look, I know not everyone has the best emotional stability, but like, she cries about literally everything. Her first minute on screen.
It's like, why are you crying? There was too much cinnamon.
At first, I thought it was like in an allergy sense. It's like okay, that like she's probably just having a bunch of tears because if you're allergic to cinnamon, that would happen. But I think it's in the sense of like the customers.
Like, or like maybe again, I don't. She may have some sort of like emotional issues or something, or maybe just because of the amount of stress that she's endured because of a failing business, and that nothing ever goes right anymore to the point where she's just crying all the time.
Yeah.
So, but who knows? So I'm not. We're not harping on her, by the way. It's just funny how frequent she's crying.
Uh-huh.
Not why she's crying, but how frequent it is.
Uh-huh. But anyways, that's the glimpse of the family. So Gordon goes to this restaurant and then, searches through the menu. And when you look at the menu, it looks like a freaking novel because there's like 300 items on there.
Yep.
But one of the things that intrigued him was pumpkin hummus. I never heard of this in my life, and I guess it was just made up there. I don't know if it's a Greek thing. I doubt it. And I don't know if it was a seasonal thing, because if it was the fall season, then yeah, okay, maybe that's a reason to make it,
Not
even if
even a basic bitch would even think about that.
not even a Starbucks girl would think about that. I, I don't know how this even pops in your head, pumpkin hummus, but I guess this guy just made it,
Yeah.
and it's a fan favorite because he just can't let go of any of the 300 items on his menu.
Yeah. But for the most part, the rest from there was just typical more family drama stuff.
Yeah, and I remember halfway through the episode, Gordon said like, he's gonna take a walk. He's gonna try to collect all his thoughts or whatever. And as he's going on his walk, the family's having like more problems. The daughter, the moody daughter's like, yeah. See, I told you he would have had a problem with this. And then the dad's like, shut up. And the daughter's like, I'm not even talking to you. And she goes to the back of the restaurant, sees her other sister, and goes, stop crying. I remember I laughed my ass off when that happened because originally, right after the dad's like, shut up. I was going to tell Mateo, being like, okay, I'm not going to lie, this is like a pretty serious problem, when a family runs a business. And then the girl just yells that, and I lost my train of thought. And I was like, I don't even know what I was going to say because that happened. I just want to point out, y'all, when you yell at someone to stop crying, they don't stop crying. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
I mean, I get it. Like after when you have someone who just cries nonstop, I would know because I know someone who does.
I know too.
Sorry, not sorry. You know who you are. You need to stop. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just lost my train of thought just doing that. When you deal with someone who just cries nonstop, of course you're just like stop crying. Like you're gonna do that, but like, come on, dude. Like if they can't help it, they can't help it. Because fun fact about some people, personal people I know, they have a tear duct problem that like they just cry out of nowhere because of a tear duct problem. So, and the only way to fix it is if they have to physically put a hole in like the area of their eye, so that way it goes into that hole instead of so instead of it escaping out. So yeah, there is that. But other than that, but no, she was legitimately crying.
Yeah.
And I think at one point when the renovations to everything was going on, she's like, finally, tears of joy.
Yeah. Other thing I remember, I don't know, when they were going through the menu, they're all doing their homework together, going through the menu, being like, okay, which stuff should we cross out? Apparently, the dad did not want to let go of any of it. Now, look, I get it. It's difficult to accept change and all that, as well as like get rid of things you don't need. But I feel if I had 300 of something, I would get rid of some of it. If I had 300 video ideas, even though God knows when that's going to happen, I can assure you I'm going to scratch like 75% of it.
Yeah, like, I mean, we're no restaurant enthusiasts, but like, I feel like your menu should have like like minus like the small stuff like drinks and like stuff like that, like less than 50 at most.
Mhm.
So you can at least have a controlled menu so you know what you're ordering and you're not dealing with a whole bunch of stuff because because if you were busy and people are like ordering like a bajillion different things, wouldn't that be difficult to handle?
Mhm.
Instead of like, oh, 5 people want the same thing. Perfect. All right, there you go. Now we can be able to serve it.
Okay, actually, I think I have a better example. Okay, so I have like a shitload of clothes, right? Bunch of shirts, bunch of socks, not that many pants, unfortunately. And as I'm like, this literally just happened like a few days ago. I was like, yeah, I'm never gonna wear this shirt ever again. It's not because of size, it's because I just simply don't wear it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, yeah, I'm never gonna use this shirt anymore, so I'm just gonna throw it out. I don't wear these socks anymore. I'm gonna throw them out because once again, I have too many of it, so naturally I want to get rid of it.
He has too many pairs of just the same black shirt over and over and over again.
Yeah, actually, I do. There's a bunch of long sleeves just sitting in my closet. Don't ever wear them, so I just throw them out. And simply because I own too many of them, so I want to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure. I mean, again, I never owned a restaurant. I probably never will. I'm pretty sure if I had
Because we're smart.
I'm pretty sure if I had 300 items on my menu, I would want to get rid of 75% of it.
Agreed.
Huh.
Because even he was it took him a minute to be like, oh wait, actually, yeah, you're right. There actually is a lot of stuff in this fucking menu.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm pretty sure like you don't think that half of the stuff is like repeats of the same thing or something, like just the same food in a different font.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So yeah, a little bit of a deep cut, but to us, it's always a very funny episode to us.
Yep. Now we're moving on to number 4, Charlie's.
Again, another bit of a deep cut, but to us, it's gold.
Yeah. So this is and like many others, family restaurant of
Where-
Tatiana,
Yep.
the main owner, her sister, and her mom, who I forgot the name of both of them. So her sister and her mom, they provide a shitload of money. They basically put their life savings into this restaurant, right?
Yeah,
Meanwhile, Tatiana puts in like a couple thousand.
not even.
Oh, well.
Just, I think 1,000. She said.
Oh, okay, 1,000.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I used to work here as a server, and I bought it after, and I had my family buy it afterwards after the last 2 owners just dipped on it. So I think I know what I'm doing. So what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna change shit.
Uh-huh.
And I know nothing about management and stuff. I just know about serving, and that's about it.
Okay.
Which is another restaurant which we'll get into later.
Okay. Here's another thing I learned from. Okay, once again, I'm never gonna own a restaurant because I'm actually smart. But if I did, for whatever fucking reason I did, I'm gonna say like I'm gonna buy a restaurant. I will never ask family members for life savings for a restaurant. I would be like, hey, could you spare just a little bit of cash, but not their life savings?
Or at least not enough to where you would be forced to have a share of the restaurant.
Right.
It's like, hey, I'm running a little bit low on money, and I will promise to reimburse you in the future. Can you spare like I don't know, like $10,000 so just for plates and cutlery stuff like that. It's like, and I'm pretty sure like 7 times out of 10 they'll probably be like, yeah, sure, no problem.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, first, I mean, I don't know if it is warranted to have $10,000 for cutlery and plates, but I don't know.
Okay.
Again, we don't know anything about restaurants.
Yeah, so that's one thing. And then you got Gordon going to the restaurant, trying the appetizer, which is just bread. And it's soggy. How do you mess up bread?
I mean, we would, because we don't know anything about it, but if you're a chef, like, come on, dude.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
We'll get to the bread in a minute, too, by
Yeah.
the way.
Oh, yeah, trust me, we will. Gordon tries most of the food. Of course, it's horrible. And Tatiana,
Oh, yeah, I just learned another sad thing about the server. I don't know if you remember what happened to her.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot what her name was, but yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, So Gordon's trying all this food. Of course, it's bad. And,
The server's warning him about most of the stuff too.
yeah. And then, the sister and the mom, they're like, okay, you gotta tell your chef, that they gotta do better. But instead, Tatiana's like, oh, don't worry, you're doing good. All that stuff. So nothing wrong.
Another trend that's gonna happen in one of the future episodes we're gonna talk about.
Yep. So, all this food's horrible. And then, Gordon goes to the kitchen and, meets the head chef who does not speak English, by the way. But he's the head chef.
Oh yeah, by the way, this is an Italian restaurant, by the way.
Yeah, Italian restaurant, but we will talk about the food eventually. Well, I mean, we just did. Uh, but Gordon goes to the kitchen, tells all his problems, as well as showing him the bread, the soggy bread that looks like a flattened biscuit. And he says,
Or like a Texas steakhouse dinner roll or something like that.
yeah, and he says that is the farthest thing from being called focaccia. Now, at this time, I did not know what focaccia was. And when Mateo heard about it, he just laughed his ass off.
Like I mentioned before, I am half Italian, and I've been to Italy. I know a lot of the food. I mean, not everything, but I know a lot of the food. And I damn know what the fuck focaccia was. So when I saw that dinner roll puck that they excused for like call it fucking focaccia, I lost my goddamn mind, and I immediately showed Ruben what it was supposed to look like. And even he was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
If you guys don't know what focaccia is, it's like a standard bread, but they have like olive oil on the top with like the holes on the top. I think you might have seen it before, but that's focaccia. But no, it literally looked like a freaking just dehydrated Texas Roadhouse dinner roll things, which I haven't had, by the way, because I've never been to Texas Steakhouse. But either way, yeah. So yeah, there was that problem with the food, but of course there's many more where that came from.
Yeah. So let's admit, Gordon wanted to see, the cooking potential between the head chef and the sous chef. So he has both of them make a meatball.
A meatball.
Just a meatball. So the sous chef, does it right, just sizzle it on a pan. Meanwhile, the head chef is boiling it in sauce. Now,
sauce and water.
I want to point out, I'm Mexican, and I know what he's trying to cook. But reminder, this is an Italian restaurant. So I was like, bro, that's not the right way to do it.
He is Hispanic, by the way. I don't know if we talked about that yet, but
he is Hispanic, yeah.
Yeah.
He does not speak English, so maybe there's some translation error, but I'm sure he knows what a meatball is.
Yeah, and he's also been the head chef, I think, since the beginning of the restaurant, or at least like the longest time.
Yeah.
He's been the head chef for like the longest time, even like during the time that Tatiana was a waitress.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd think that all that experience, but no, he's gotten away with being a horrible chef for that long.
Yeah. So, of course, Gordon tries the sous chef's meatball. It's way better. And Gordon's like, sous chef, you should be the fucking head chef. When the head chef does not know how to make a fucking meatball, that scares me.
I mean, yeah.
Anyways, dinner happens, and one of the customers, she goes like, I don't know, this literally looks like Chinese food. And it shows the food. It's like, that looks like Chinese food. So a reminder, you're going to an Italian restaurant where a Mexican or Hispanic chef cooks Chinese food. That chef is a cultural enigma. That's what he is.
Yeah, that was one of the main things that made me and Ruben laugh a lot. That was one of our inside jokes.
And going back to that chef, Gordon looks at the pan of all the meatballs. Half of it is burnt to a crisp, and the other half is not cooked at all. And Gordon's like, what have you done? What the fuck have you done? I remember laughing my ass off at this because I was like, this head chef can't cook a meatball if his life depended on it.
To the point where the head chef was starting to get pissed off because he finally got called out for being a horrible chef. And he was like, you cook it.
Yeah, he was actually speaking English there. He's like, well, hey, you cook it. I was like, bro.
And look at that for a stinking attitude. A disgusting attitude.
I think Ramsay was like, "What's man? Put his house on the line. If his house was on the line, he wouldn't be cooking like a fucking donkey." I mean, yeah, maybe he would actually know how to cook meatballs.
Yeah, and then from there on, he gets fired
Yeah,
in the most awkward, departure because I think Tatiana tries to go for like a hug and and he denies it.
yeah. He was like, "Okay,
Yeah, it was gonna happen. I know.
uh huh." I guess it was too hard for Tatiana to fire this head chef.
Sorry, excuse for a head chef that can't even cook a fucking meatball or focaccia, by the way.
Right.
I mean, I hope he does well, but I don't know.
I don't know, man.
He's like, oh yeah, he has wife and kids. Well, yeah, so did your fucking family. So does your sister and your mom.
Uh-huh.
You fuck, like you being one of them, you fucker.
Yeah. I think that's it for this episode.
But the one last thing that I mentioned earlier about the server, I wish I remember her name. That was one of the few gems of the episode. She unfortunately passed away. I don't know how long afterwards, but she was young, and I think she died of a stroke, if I'm not mistaken. Which is very, very unfortunate. So rest in peace to the server. And I hope I wish well for the family, because that is so unfortunate for something as something as just quick as a stroke, man. It's like,
yeah, it's pretty sad. But yeah, that's Charlie's.
yeah.
All right, now we move on to the top three. Number
here we
3,
go.
Mill Street Bistro,
I think many people are like not surprised about this.
with the main owner, Joe.
Joe Nagy.
A very fitting name,
Yep.
because he nags. Well, I mean, he does more than nag, I'll tell you that.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Where do we even begin with this?
Now, you might think Joe's a pretty, nice guy. He has his own farm.
His own ranch, own livestock, has a pet goat
Yeah,
named Skinny.
Yeah, that goat does not get slaughtered, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the MVP of the episode.
He probably is, yeah. So, okay, maybe Joe's a pretty decent guy. And then you see his restaurant
He's like-
business and how he manages things.
A very beautiful restaurant, by the way. And then, everyone everyone hates his guts because he's a contradicting, dictatoring fuck.
Yeah.
Arrogant motherfucker. He was also full of shit because he used to work in the food distribution sales business, basically. So, when you're a businessman, normally, you like to cut corners. And that's exactly what he does.
Mhm.
He cuts corners. He basically orders everything from a wholesale food club, as quoted from one of the people. So everything is just half-assed, packaged, store-bought. Like, not even store-bought. Like, basically, just stuff that's not even made throughout, like a mile within the place.
Yeah.
Frozen bullcrap, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Nothing fresh.
Uh-huh. Like some other episodes. But now, of course, all that basically described everything about Joe. Mainly because Joe was the biggest problem here.
Yeah.
But there's one thing I do remember from this episode was, of course, Joe and Gordon arguing.
Yeah.
Joe was like, I basically have the same skills that you have. What do you have that I don't?
Yeah, so it was like, you're, Gordon says to Joe, defensive, arrogant, and in complete denial. Joe was like, and guess what? If I'm all that, you're my twin. And it's like, yeah, it's like, so come with the bullshit. And then
Gordon, this is the main skill. This is the main thing that Gordon has that Joe doesn't. Gordon says this: I can cook, Joe.
Yeah, the biggest burn out of that entire episode. Like, fucking get owned, bitch.
Yeah.
And of course, during that first argument, literally the entire staff was just like popcorn in hand, just enjoying all of it.
Yep.
Because they had to deal with that BS for the longest time. And the other thing I found funny too is when Gordon left, and he was trying to give off a lecture to the staff and just being an asshole again. There was customers that came in, and basically were hearing Joe just being Joe. And then when Joe found out that they were right there the whole time, he started talking nice to the staff afterwards. Or like the other funny part where, they have this whole nice presentation for one slice of chocolate cake. And then Gordon like makes a big, not really a big deal out of it because it's just so ridiculous. Then he's like, it looks like he's a funeral for the cake or something. And then they do like the whole like shoulder thing with like the plate for the cake. Trying to just make the staff not miserable, which was kind of fun for Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the El Quesadilla.
Oh.
That whole spiel. It's like, all right, this is fine dining bistro. I guess we're just gonna throw a little bit of Mexican, I guess.
I guess so, yeah.
And like we learned pretty quickly. All right, so never put elk in a quesadilla.
Yeah. I mean, I know you can eat elk here and there, but like, never in a quesadilla, man. It's like putting in a grilled cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, quesadilla is basically just a Mexican grilled cheese when you think about it. But
yeah, honestly, yeah.
I think he even said like it had the same texture as like leather.
No, that was the steak. To the point where it was like not even chewable.
Uh-huh. It's like eating a belt.
Yeah.
Good. All I can think about is Joe and his fucking arrogant ass.
And then discovering the fridge afterwards. He froze, of course, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oysters, AstroTurf, whatever the heck that's supposed to mean. And then the funniest part to me was just frozen blue cheese. Where at that point, even Ruben was like,
I lost my shit after that. And here's the funny thing. Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, I should have learned this a long ass time ago watching this series. But I was like, okay, I think it's pretty obvious. Don't freeze all of your food, including blue cheese. I remember the same day I bought some basically they're called gancitos, okay? They're the Mexican version of Twinkies. And I remember I put them in the freezer because it's like eating ice cream. So when I watched that episode being like, it's pretty obvious not to freeze fucking blue cheese. Literally like 2 minutes later, like, oh yeah, by the way, I put some shit in your freezer. Let me get it real quick. Desserts, it's fine. Or whatever the hell that is. It's fine.
And, like, it was so frozen to the point where it was like, dong, dong, dong.
It's like a rock.
Yeah, no. We learned pretty quickly from Kitchen Nightmares that frozen anything is just bad.
Uh-huh. Especially blue cheese.
Yeah, like, what the fuck, dude?
I don't know, man.
And I guess the other big important thing, of course, was, well, other than, the confrontation between Gordon and Joe, where to the point where even fucking Gordon kicked him out of his own kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, after when all the changes were made, and when Gordon left, Joe immediately went back to his old ways.
Uh-huh.
And changed the menu to what he wanted to do, and of course it closed not that long after.
Mm-hmm.
So, he did not embrace change in the slightest. Because even in like the last moment where like where I think he was just so like afraid of Gordon at that point that he just wanted to be good for one goddamn night and then just go back to his old ways. So thinking that, oh yeah, I know anything, and then I think he tried to even sue Gordon Ramsay.
Okay. Well then, that's something.
He's trying to sue Gordon Ramsay on Kitchen Nightmares.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder how well that went.
Jesus, dude.
But yeah, there's the infamous Joe episode.
Yeah. Now we're moving on to number 2, which is Nino's. Yeah, I'm sure most of you knew this was going to be on here. I remember briefly this was on the Inside Jokes podcast because me and Mateo started watching the series during our dark age of 2023. So, Nino, where do I begin with this guy? So, I mean, there's a flashback sequence, how the restaurant's been doing before Gordon arrived.
Another Italian restaurant, by the way.
Yep. So Nino, even though the restaurant's named after him, he's, I think, the manager. I don't know.
The main guy. To put it bluntly.
What does he do during business hours? He just sits in the back watching TV.
And sitting with customers just talking about the business, and that's it.
Yeah.
He doesn't lead anything. He doesn't, do all that stuff. He was just a guy who also had an alcohol problem, but,
Uh-huh.
that he just brought up out of nowhere, even though no one brought it up.
Uh-huh. Uh, well, I guess this is some important background. The original owner, was the parents, but the dad had Alzheimer's, so he could,
Alzheimer's, dementia, something like that. Yeah.
yeah, so he could not run the business anymore. Meaning it had to be put on Nino of all people.
And the mom financing everything because of it.
Yep.
That Nino was just so neglectful.
Uh-huh. So,
And then the two other siblings of Nino had to step in and help,
yeah.
even though they already have day jobs of their own.
Yep. So, Gordon arrives, talks to the family, what is the problem? Or, what's everyone's roles? The chef, the server, all that stuff. Nino, what do you do? The restaurant's named after you, so surely you have a big role. So, he's talking about his dad, he used to own the place. And so what does Nino do?
He cleans.
He cleans, even though you can tell he does not clean, as we'll see eventually. So, his brother Michael, he
At
So-
first, he was the MVP of the episode because of just how funny he was
yeah, so he
and honest.
so he jumps in. He's like, I'm gonna say Nino does not do anything around here. He just sits in the back. What he's the first manager who will have lunch at lunchtime, sitting in the back watching TV, and talks to the customers, but not as in promoting the restaurant, just having just regular conversations with people. And the best part of it was Michael was like, just like that one time, he went up to every table and went, "Hello, my name's Nino."
Fucking Kane Ah voice.
I wish they got footage of that. And I know I said this in the Inside Jokes podcast, but something tells me when Michael heard Gordon was going to check on the restaurant, he practiced every single day in the mirror doing that.
Probably, I mean.
Something tells me like that was the case.
Or he just wanted to vent so hard until for this very moment to happen.
Probably, yeah. Well, of course, Nino's just throwing excuses. He even pulls in the fucking like, he's just doing it because I'm in a recovery program, which that's fucking lame. That's excuse, bro. If you pull that out, that's how your ego is fragile. But all that arguments happens, and then Gordon finally tries the food. You have eggplant. There's a space between egg and plant, by the way.
And meatball, by the way.
Yep. Same with meatball, a ball of meat. As he's trying all this food, Gordon, just checks around the tables. There's a bunch of gum underneath the table.
Well, actually, no. Before that, Michael, he's like,
Oh my god!
It's like
I don't know how I forgot about this.
Michael's like, he says, Michael, thank you so much for the honesty, and he's like, yeah, and then fucking Nino.
So Michael tells like what's going on with Nino. Like he has this is the only place he can work. He doesn't have any other job. Saying all this negative stuff. And as Michael's saying all this negative stuff, he's done talking about it. As he turns around, Nino is just standing there with his hands on his hips, looking like a cartoon. It's like that case in TV shows when you're talking bad about someone, that person just happens to be right behind you.
I'm right behind you.
Yeah.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Literally the most cartoonish entrance he's ever had.
I think you even mentioned like he comes off as like an anime villain or some shit.
Yeah, he does. I will get into that at some point. So, anyways,
then it goes to he cleans. Literally goes under the table. What does he find? Just gum everywhere.
Yeah, and Gordon looks at the corners of the roof, and there's just cobweb sticking there. And I remember as he was checking the tables for the gum, Nino was like, "I wouldn't do that to your tables," and Gordon's like, "You wouldn't find gum under my tables, because you clean it." And speaking of cleaning, at some point, Gordon got off the table at some point, I think to check the kitchen or whatever. And when he comes back, he sees a bunch of pictures, like photographs of Nino cleaning, which is genuinely the most childish shit I've ever seen. It's like, I would imagine this dude as a kid was like, "Mom, I promise I was cleaning. Look, here's me doing the dishes." Literally the most childish shit I've ever seen. And the mom even brings up,
It's like,
you don't need pictures to show that you've been cleaning. You just look at the room and it's clean.
yeah. bless that woman's heart, bro. She
Yeah.
did not deserve any of that.
No, dude. She really didn't. In terms of the food, I don't remember what happened other than misspelling.
It's just bad, just another bad food case with food, and then old food stuff like that.
Uh,
Nino being Nino.
I think there was a point like, Gordon asked, how old's the food? And Nino's like, oh, it was just made yesterday. But then he asked one of the employees, oh, it was there since Friday.
And I think it was like Tuesday or something at the time when they recorded it.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's that. I think another standout moment was like, there's another argument at the table. Once again, Gordon's like, I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to go collect my thoughts. So the family's arguing. And, Michael, says some stuff. And then Nino's like, why are you being like that to your mother? Like, Brawl, what the fuck are you doing now? After everything you've done. And then, Michael says some more stuff. And then this is where the anime villain kicks in. He has his arms crossed and he stares at him. It would have been +2 points if he had glasses on and put them up. But he was like, you're being very unfair and dishonest to your mother right now.
Yeah. I would say that Michael was the MVP, but then later on, he kind of lost a lot of sympathy from me because, like, even when it finally felt like, Nino was changing and that everything was going good, like, Michael walked off in, like, anger. He's like, I don't believe this shit.
Uh-huh.
So he was like, okay, bro, really? You have to throw a fit like that?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, other than that, the episode was very memorable to us.
Yep.
And that the most common trend was that almost all the Italian restaurants were just the funniest or the most entertaining episodes.
Yep.
According to Ruben.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. It's just the same thing. Just breathe in and then like, all right, not.
All right, now for number one. But before we get into number one, we have a few honorable mentions.
Yes, which we're going to talk very briefly because we're already past our 1 hour mark. Oh, Jesus. All right.
Okay. So the reason these are honorable mentions is because chances are there's only like one memorable thing out of it. So it's like, okay, we can't really talk about that much.
All right.
Even though with Mill Street Bistro, we just talk about Joe.
Yeah. But there was multiple things of Joe that was, that was memorable.
Yeah.
But yeah, rapid fire honorable mentions and go.
So first we have Prohibition Grill.
The belly dancer owner.
Yeah.
That was the most clueless owner I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So basically, she was a belly dancer, okay? And she was like, I should own a restaurant. And of course, had no fucking clue of how to run a restaurant.
But she had 6 months of a waitress experience. That clearly means that you have experience for running a restaurant, right?
Guys, I've been working at a barbershop for like 2 years. I think I should work in an aquarium.
I had a pet fish for like a year, so I know everything about fish now.
Yeah. I have a pet bird, y'all. And by a pet bird, I mean a pigeon I feed every now and then. I should work at a zoo. But yeah, this was the big thing. It's like, why the fuck are you working in this field if you used to work in some other field? That was mainly the shtick.
Like, I would be more forgiving if you were a business owner going into a restaurant, because, like, all right, at least you know some sort of business tactics for this.
Uh-huh.
But no, you're like a complete 180.
Yeah.
I used to animate. I'm gonna be the president of the United States.
Okay.
All right. Anyways,
next up on the honorable mentions is Levantes. I hope I'm saying that correctly. But the main thing of this episode was that Gordon was looking through the menu. He finds something called Carletta sauce. I don't remember what exactly it was, but when he asked the waitress what it was about, the waitress says it came to him in a dream. And the moment I heard that, I was like, what? This dude just got some idea from a dream? Bro, what kind of person gets an idea from a dream?
Okay, bro, shut the fuck up.
Only some people would know that because I can't explain that on here. But yeah, that was the main thing, was the fact that he got this idea from a dream. And then when Gordon talked to him about like the Carletta sauce, he says, God gave me the idea.
I was like, okay, fuck you, dude.
But yeah, those.
I'm not even religious, and even I would be like, come on, dude.
But yeah, that was the main shtick of that one was the dream sauce.
Yeah. Other than that, it was just, typical Kitchen Nightmares episode.
Yep. Next up is Sushi Co, which probably the only Japanese restaurant here because I noticed all
There's very few,
or Asian restaurants.
Yeah, Asian restaurants in total,
And
yeah.
I know Indian is Asian, but let's say East Asian, okay? Bare, only Japanese restaurant here. No Chinese food, no Korean food, whatever.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Sushi Co. The main thing of this episode was the sushi pizza, which in my head I was like, "What is that? Like a sushi with pizza ingredients, or is that a pizza with sushi ingredients?" I don't even know what it was when it was served, but the standout of this was, of course, Gordon talking to the head chef and I guess the owner as well. And he says this uh, the sushi pizza was fucking hideous, bland, and an insult to Japanese culture and an insult to a fucking pizza house. When I heard that, first I was like, you gonna leave Italian out of this? And the second, I should have learned this a long time ago, but what is a pizza house?
Yeah, safe to say I kind of partially got offended. I was like, okay, you're just gonna leave out Italian like that?
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess in some ways, pizza is, more international than most. I don't fucking know.
I don't know, man. All right, next up is Mama Maria's. This was owned by some guy who both of his parents unfortunately passed away, so he had to step up. But no, the pressure is natural, when you lose both your parents who own this restaurant. But one of the biggest problems here
Is that you don't want to change anything. You want to keep it to what your parents want.
yeah,
Or had at the time, I should say. Not,
yeah. However, that does not, excuse a problem of some customer who got food poisoning I don't know if it was food poisoning. He threw up due to some lobster that was
pneumonia.
yeah.
Yeah. So basically, old, like, deteriorating lobster
Yeah.
that could, if he would have, did not throw up, he probably maybe would have died.
Yeah. I just heard like a
Wow, what is the odds of that? The one with the ambulance in the episode passes by at this very moment.
right.
That's a sign.
Yeah.
We're about to have food poisoning earlier when we were done. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But yeah, just want to bring that up. Again, I understand, both your parents pass away and they had this
Yeah.
vision of your restaurant. The pressure is humongous, but at the same time, food poisoning is also humongous.
Also, the amount of frozen food that they pulled out was fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
And also, this also the confrontation about the so I learned pretty quickly about this because of this. When you're displaying food for like desserts or something, you would at least have to change it every day.
Mhm.
But these guys were like, well, it's not being served, so why are we, what's
It's
the
just
point?
there for display purposes.
But there was mold on it.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, no one's gonna sit, you dumbass. Like, you don't think it's gonna contaminate, cause problems?
Uh-huh. Anyways, next up on the honorable mentions is Chappie's. And literally the only thing I remember from this is how the chef looked, because he literally looks like your typical cartoon chef.
Yeah, he is anything but, typical.
Yeah. He may look like it, but definitely is not one.
Yep. He looks the part, but does not play the part.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I think it's just your standard Kitchen Nightmares episode.
Yeah. Well, there was the pescatarian thing. He did not know what
Oh
pescatarian
my god,
meant.
yeah.
If you guys don't know what pescatarian means, it's a person that only eats fish. As a chef, you probably should know what that is prior to being a chef.
Uh-huh.
So you know, hey, I'm gonna separate fish from meat. Because that's what he did. He put fish and meat on the same pan to cook it with.
Yeah. And
Dumbass.
and finally, for the honorable mentions is Cafe Hun. The only thing I remember from this is that the owner wanted to copyright the word Hun.
Yep, and it was a big scandal in the town that they were in. I could be wrong. I think it might have been Massachusetts, but I could be wrong. Yeah. Either way, yeah, she tried to copyright that word, and it was a big scandal, and I think it was like a fairly small neighborhood. That's why it got so big.
Uh-huh.
Like word of mouth, spread like crazy. To the point where even there was propaganda outside of people being like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And the big standout, it was a big flamingo. Like you could not miss the place. If from like a million-mile radius, you could not miss the place.
Yeah.
And one of my other favorite things about this thing was like during like the service where Gordon's like observing everything, because food was just being constantly, brought back because it was not good. Like instead of I don't know, giving them another plate but done better, what does Denise do? 86 the fries, 86 the meatballs, 86. I forgot what the I think it was like a seafood place or something, or like sea related stuff, or just comfort food, whatever the fuck. But the only reason why this was a standout to me was because I looked at the comment section again. The comment section just being fucking comedians. It was like customer. It's a little bit hot today. Denise, guys, 86 the sun, holding a bazooka. It's like that killed me. Other than that, it's just another one.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of those rare cases where Gordon actually liked the food, but only part of it. He liked the crab, but the shrimp was like stone cold.
Mhm.
So there's that. They had one small good thing going on.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. I think all of you know where this is gonna go anyway, but
Yeah, and plus you even mentioned the name earlier in this podcast. Number 1, Amy's Baking Company.
dun 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 dun.
Yeah, anyone who's seen Kitchen Nightmares or probably heard of it might knew this was going to be number 1.
No big surprise, but if you've been living under a rock this entire time, Ruben, kindly enlighten everyone about what the heck happened in the infamous, I think literally the most infamous Kitchen Nightmares episode,
Okay.
Amy's Baking Company.
So let's see here. Amy's Baking Company, you just assume it's just nothing but pastries. And, Gordon even tries out one of the pastries, and it's good.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, we definitely will. Pastry is good. And then you look at the kitchen,
Clean.
You look at the fridge, all organized. So you're like, okay, this might actually be a pretty good restaurant.
That's it. That's only as if you didn't see, the footage prior to that part, but you just
Yeah.
Go on.
All right, well, I guess I'll talk about the footage. So, you got Sammy, who, I guess, taking this guy's order, which, the guy literally just ordered a pizza. And that dude has been waiting there for literally an hour. And Sammy's like, just wait, we'll serve your pizza very soon. And the customer's like, you keep saying that, it's literally been an hour. And I guess Sammy just had enough with this guy, started yelling at this guy, and was like, literally threatening him to leave his restaurant.
And then of course Amy chimes in afterwards too.
Yeah.
They call the police. What are they gonna do?
I don't know.
They might arrest you for what you've done. Again, we'll talk about that later too.
Uh-huh. And all this commotion happens, and everyone's looking at it because how can you not look at it? And Amy's like, everything's fine, everyone. Nothing
Like,
going
I
on.
make excellent food. I hate all of you. It's just like some. You all think that you could just do this stuff with me? I've never seen anything like this before. Oh my god, I'm about to go crazy.
Uh-huh.
I'm freaking out right now. Oh my god.
Yep. All right, now we get into the restaurant. Like I said, it serves pastries. Gordon tries it, it's good. Kitchen clean, fridge organized. However, knowing those two, they probably threatened their employees to clean everything.
I think it was actually talked about earlier. I think their kitchen was actually a mess, but because they knew Gordon was coming, they forced their employees to, clean everything.
Well then, okay, there's that. So, Gordon, he orders the food, looks at the menu, very miscellaneous menu. You got burgers, you got pizza, you got fucking
Pasta,
yeah, the
salmon burger, whatever the fuck that's supposed to be.
I never heard of this. I don't even know what cuisine this is. However, one interesting thing, Gordon talks to the waitress about tips, and apparently the waitress does not get any tips.
Yep. If you already didn't see the wave of red flags, that was the other big one.
Yeah, so the waiters and waitresses do well. Actually, they're all female employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did have male employees, but they were not at all supposed to be near the kitchen.
Uh-huh.
Because we learned pretty quick in the follow-up episode, yes, because that's how big this episode was. There was a follow-up one dedicated to itself,
Mhm.
where Amy's a sexist.
Yeah. And then
Just did not want men in her vicinity. Like
Uh-huh.
maybe if it was like a PTSD thing where she was like, again, trigger word, abused. Maybe that would have been warranted. But no, she was just like, nah, they're creepy, they're big egos. It's like, oh, so you're just a sexist. All right, cool.
Uh-huh. So the waitresses, they don't make any tips. Okay, Sammy takes all the money, and they only get paid hourly. So pretty sure that's a crime, but we'll definitely get into that. uh
Just when you think that it's not gonna get bad enough, it just gets worse and worse and worse, even beyond the episode.
Yep. So what's it? Gordon tries the food, which what's it? The crust looks solid, but the dough in the inside looks soggy.
It's a thin pizza too, and you still fuck that up.
I guess I don't know, man.
How do you fuck that up?
And as Gordon's trying all this food and obviously not liking it because it's terrible, Amy is like, there are starving kids out there. They would definitely eat this. Motherfucker, that's what fast food restaurants are for. But when you go to a restaurant, you want good food. You're not expecting slop.
And keep in mind, as we mentioned with what was that episode that we talked about where they did not get the criticism. Which one was that one again? They didn't say anything.
Criticism.
Where they did not say what was wrong with the. It was one of the previous episodes. Shoot.
I mean, you can quickly look right here.
Whatever. But yeah, the other big thing was Sammy did not say any criticism towards Amy.
Oh, it was Charlie's.
Charlie's.
Because Tatiana would not tell.
Yeah. That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anytime that the food comes back, Sammy just does not tell her because even he's like, I know my wife. She's going to go nuts.
Uh-huh.
And we'll go in depth more about the criticism thing later, but in the meantime.
Yeah. Anyway, at some point in time, waitress takes some other tables, order, takes the tips, and Gordon's like, how would you think that family over there would feel that you took the tips? So, Gordon tells that family, this owner, he takes the tips. The family's like, that's horrible. And, I guess...
A small confrontation between Sammy and Gordon.
Yeah, and Gordon's like, don't fuck with me. And then Sammy's like,
yeah, I don't fuck with you. Who the fuck you think you are?
I am the gangster, not you. Like
I don't know what ethnicity he is, but
I don't know.
Bazadlo, I don't know. Guys, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. And as Gordon and Sammy are having this confrontation, they show this shot of Amy
I forgot about this.
Walking towards the knives, but then she turns back. So in my head, I was like, was she about to kill Gordon, but then remembered she's on TV?
I think a lot of the people in the comments thought that too. It's like, I thought she was about to go fucking stab Gordon. Some to the people that says those videos like how this movie would have like ended differently. Somebody please do that with that episode, but where she kills Gordon Ramsay and it's like a completely different reality where she's like in jail or something.
Yeah.
Please, I would love to see that.
Okay, another thing was that there's this other waitress, the chefs cook the food, or Amy cooks the food.
Katie, yes. That was
okay, Katie was the name of the waitress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If what you're talking about is what I think you're talking about.
All right, and Amy's like, all right, this is the food that yada yada.
Take it to 4B. No, sorry, 5B, 5B.
And then Katie goes, are you sure? And then Amy goes, you don't talk to me like that, Amy.
You don't need to question me, Katie. You can go home right now.
Yeah. And I guess she took this personally because later that night, Katie gets fired simply for saying, "Are you sure?"
A little bit of a smug attitude in there, but even then, that's still not warranted to fire your for asking for clarification.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, if you couldn't tell already, as I mentioned earlier about the criticism, Amy might be the first person I've ever seen, or at least one of the few people I've ever seen that cannot take criticism or the truth at all. Whether it's because she just does not want to hear it, or she's been so oblivious of the truth because Sammy just does not want to, have her improve or anything involving those words, just anything like that. She literally, anytime there was criticism or anything involving bad food, both Sammy and Amy literally cannot take it.
Uh-huh.
Because it's either that Sammy would just not say anything, or it would just be like, all right, you don't know what you're talking, like, you don't know how to eat food. I'm not even joking, that's literally one of the quotes.
Okay.
And, and then Sammy would just say, just, fuck off.
Uh-huh.
It's like, how are you going to have a successful business if you're just going to tell people to fuck off?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So anyways, that whole fiasco happens. And then, then the shift's over, okay? Everyone go home. Gordon, in the next day, talks to some ex-employees of that restaurant. They talk about all the problems, how one of the employees had to wash Sammy's car or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's more to it.
One of the female waitresses, or she was like bouncing around different areas, and she had to like beg her way back to a certain position because of and also another standout, they've been through like a few hundred, according to them, employees in like the span of a year.
Yep.
Because people are like, oh, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Which those people had more brains in them than anything combined with Amy and Sammy.
Uh-huh. So after all this, Gordon goes back to the restaurant just to have a conversation with Amy and Sammy. So, what's it? Gordon talked about, Katie, who got fired for just simply saying, "Are you sure?" But, Amy took that as in like a personal attack or something. I don't even know. Uh, you know, Amy and Sammy, they start saying more nonsense, and then Gordon's just had enough, all right? He was like, none of this shit's normal. It's not normal for a restaurant to go through that many employees. It's not normal for
a menu to have 65 items, like a kitchen that small to have 65 stuff on a menu.
Uh-huh.
And the animosity that they have built towards the community and how they've done to their own goddamn staff. So
yeah, so what does Gordon do as a final resort? He leaves.
The first time that it ever happened in the series where he leaves because the owners were just like, yeah. We want to end the show. Or at least Amy wanted to end the show. I'm pretty sure Sammy was like trying to, take advantage of it, but freaking Amy was just like, I had enough of this.
Yep. So yeah, Gordon just left because he just could not do anything about it. And it's not because he didn't want to, it's because the owners refused the help.
And he knew that if he were to even implement them, it would have been a waste of time.
Yep.
Because they would not even take it anyway.
Yep. But there's still more to this, everyone. So as Mateo previously mentioned, there was a follow-up episode that also went through a little bit of their background. So Sammy apparently had a lot of criminal charges, one of them being extortion.
Drug trafficking.
Yep.
And was deported back to, or I don't know back to, but was deported out of the United States because of it.
Yeah. And I guess there are some videos of people going to Amy's Baking Company simply just to see these crazy owners. And in one of the clips, of course the footage was very bad, but as Sammy was taking one of these people out, it looked like he was holding a knife in that video, which would not surprise me in the slightest. So yeah, there's that. Restaurant, of course, gets shut down because Sammy got deported.
And they got divorced, by the way. And the whole time they were like, Amy was like, we are a couple. We are an undeniable, a unit. We are like, like he is my soulmate. Divorced.
Yeah, and they even go back to the restaurant, or rather, one of Gordon's reporters or something goes back to the restaurant.
Yep.
And you see the arguing there, and Amy's like, "The whole world thinks we're psychos now."
Yeah, they have like the mentality that everyone is out to get them,
Uh-huh.
and now self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yep. Oh, and do you remember the desserts I was talking about? Where Gordon was like, "Oh yeah, these are pretty good. They're all store-bought. All of it."
So Amy is good for nothing, and I don't use that term lightly because that's pretty mean, but literally she was good for nothing.
Yep. So, there was nothing positive about this restaurant. Well, minus the entertainment value.
I think I saw like a video recently where her Instagram is just AI generated pictures of desserts now.
Well then, okay then. But yeah, that is our number one spot for Kitchen Nightmares episode. I don't think anybody is surprised by this whatsoever.
Nope, but if any of this information is new to you, you're welcome.
Mhm.
If there's any more reason to hate Amy and Sammy, there you go. Literally, it's two of the most craziest human beings out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that is our top 10 Kitchen Nightmares episodes. I hope we all learned some stuff today, If you're
Over the years of us watching this stuff, we learned a lot about kitchens. But again, we also learned to probably never, ever, 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 ever open one. Just
Yep.
because we think we could do it.
All right, so what have we learned today, class? Keep your employees motivated, do your job as a manager,
Be a decent fucking human being.
have your restaurants clean, don't freeze food. Unless it's desserts, then I don't know. And yeah, I think that's all.
Honestly, look, the only underlying thing, just be a decent fucking human being. Like,
And I said this in one of our podcasts. Most of those problems aren't even exclusive to restaurants. Those can apply to aquariums, barbershops, schools, police stations.
like I said, just be a decent fucking human being.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I learned pretty quickly that it's not hard to be nice, it's just easier being mean.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, that's gonna wrap it up for today's podcast. This was again, like I said, I'm surprised we haven't done this sooner.
Uh-huh.
When we were at the peak of us watching Kitchen Nightmares. We don't normally watch it anymore, but but I guess we could add one more honorable mention that Ruben laughed his ass off, which not from Kitchen Nightmares, but it was from a different series that he had.
Okay, so
just before we end this off,
other I also talked about this in the Inside Jokes podcast. I forgot the name of the show. I think it was like 24 Hours in Hell and Back or something. I don't know. I got it all wrong. But what's meant? Gordon goes to this Mexican restaurant, and Gordon just acts like a customer, and he's like, okay, come on, just do your waiter stuff, ask like, would you like to have this today? And his dad's also there, rooting for him or whatever. And he's like, come on, just be like, would you like the chicken enchiladas with tomatillo sauce? And the waiter says this, would you like to start with the Chinese? And then Gordon goes, Chinese? I'm done. And then he stands up, walks away, and the cameraman's following him, and Gordon's like, can I start with the Chinese? And keep in mind, that was around the time when the China joke within this group happened.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So maybe that's why I found it funny. If it was before the China joke, I'll just simply laughed at it and moved on. But the fact that it was after the China joke, I had to show it to Mateo.
Yeah. But yeah, now that's going to wrap it up for today's podcast. It was a pretty long one, surprisingly.
Mhm.
And our first ever top 10 episode. Oh my goodness, excuse me.
Whoa.
What's happening?
Are you about to regurgitate?
I think I'm about to blow up. But on that note, Ruben, what is going to happen for future episodes, if there even is?
You guys already know the shtick if you listen to the end of all of our podcasts for the past 5. Connor's available, we'll ask him about the school differences and all that. You got the pet peeves one. If we're going back to reviews, we got the Minecraft movie, we got Fan Four Stick, or some other awful movie we just stumble upon on the streaming service.
Yeah, or if we decide to watch a movie today, the day if we're recording this, and then we're like, all right, well, we're gonna save that for a podcast episode.
Uh-huh. And my voice cracked.
Yeah. But yeah. And of course, stay tuned for more content to be made other than the podcast episodes, because there is actually a good chunk that's going to be released soon. It's just a matter of just sitting down and actually working on it. But on that note, I'm Mateo.
And I'm Ruben.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.